Welcome once again to another episode of The Plant Healer's Path. So tell me, have you been feeling a calling or an urge to share what you've learned about medicinal plants? Maybe to share it informally with folks in need of healing info, or even with those that are already in the midst of an in-depth study of the healing arts. Or perhaps you've been wondering if you've got what it takes to make teaching a substantial part of your career or mission. If so, your desire to both expand and disseminate your knowledge is the main requirement and base ingredient needed, followed by veritable, testable, useful information. And while it's helpful to come naturally equipped with things like confidence and patience, or to be specially blessed with a lot of previous experience, most important skills are learnable and attainable, like critical thinking, accurate assessment, and treatment selection. So too with a growing understanding of materia medica, coming to know the history, composition, and actions of ever more healing herbs through focused study and personal experimentation and use. Yet, the fact is, if you're only familiar with a single plant and its benefits, then you already have something valuable and significant to impart to others. Now, before we go on, please take just a second to click that like button so that more folks will get to watch this. I really appreciate you. Now, it's likely that you already teach. What do I mean by that? Even if you don't already think of it as teaching, it is. It's teaching whenever we help a family member understand a health issue and some more natural ways of addressing it. And when a friend who knows you're into herbs rings you on the phone to ask you for suggestions. It's teaching whenever you talk about plants and nature to eager young kids, or pause while paying for groceries to cheer up the checker and let her know about some relaxing tea. But you can also take this further by making things more intentional, organized, and planned, such as offering free workshops at your local apothecary, or maybe presenting at an herbal conference, bringing to life for your attendees those topics that you're most versed in and most thrilled to talk about. And if the delivering of inspiration and information happens to end up a major part of your work, you can also find ways to monetize it, and indeed to get paid for your time. You can do this by charging for classes, or by teaching regularly at an established herb school, physical or online. And like I discussed in my video, Writing About Herbs, one can still make a satisfactory living these days by compiling all the lessons you've learned into books that you can sell. But income producing or not, teaching can be incredibly satisfying and fulfilling, foremost because you're equipping people with what they genuinely need to feel more vital, to suffer less, and to lessen or even to resolve serious life-threatening conditions. There are few things that feel better in this world than seeing someone's face brighten as you talk about herbs or different therapies they could use, their smiles growing with each new understanding. It's truly a precious thing to encourage their education and affirm their individualized paths. And sharing healing knowledge is one of the most powerful ways that you can do good in this world. Teaching is how one passes on healthful values. It's how we extend natural healing traditions to the eager young and excitable older newbies, to sidelined and to the marginalized, to our contemporaries, and from one generation to the next. It's a venue and a means for casting a light on harms and wrongs, for rattling the cage of the dominant paradigm, for providing alternatives, inviting healing change, and for encouraging individuals to take responsibility for their own health and the healing of our world. And this act of teaching serves ourselves as well, presenting us with additional stimulus and reasons for our unending studies and learning, for a deepening or branching out, for our incorporation of the latest research and discoveries, and for connecting the dots of various elements, knowings, disciplines, and fields. What you should teach then becomes the question. Of course, when it comes to these healing arts, we ought to teach that which there is both a strong need for and a viable demand for. Something that will vary depending on the particular healing modality that we work within and the health and the disease trends of those communities and demographics that we opt to target. Teach what you have the greatest understandings of, what you feel most certain is true and applicable, while remaining willing to have your citations and your conclusions questioned by your students and others. Draw from your full array of knowledge, not just about the particulars of a subject, but about all manner of things which could in any way bear upon, inform, shed a light on, augment, or otherwise connect to it. Teach what you've had profound or extended experience with, that which you've personally observed, evaluated, tested, and applied over time. Teach what you're excited about. Teach what you're excited to continuously learn about. What most interests you, piques your curiosity, obsesses you, and thrills you with its possible applications. It's important to present the basics, the most essential of the known facts, the very foundations, if you will, of all that you offer, an extensive materia medica, the historic traditions that contribute to each method's credibility. But to give students your very best and to keep things maximally interesting for yourself, I suggest your presentations also delve into those topics that have got you excited to discover, to study, excited to explore, excited to reveal. Enliven and enrich your classes and books by teaching what you currently feel the most passionate about, that which you most intensely love, whether about a beloved medicinal plant that you developed an intimate relationship with, or the workings of a free clinic serving marginalized populations. Special techniques and treatments so crazily effective that you can't resist telling others about them. A particular species of plant that has you enraptured. Groundbreaking research and scientific discoveries that make your mind race and your heart beat faster. A mission you can't quit dreaming about. And the latest of your intoxicating ideas and visions. The ever-consequential spirit of healing and magic of nature. Students and readers can often tell when an instructor is less than thrilled, less than motivated to present some piece of information that they may be taught 1,000 times before. A specific skill set, such as making herbal tinctures, can come across as dry and forgettable if it seems to be added just to fill out a comprehensive curricula. But even the most elemental lessons are buoyed and energized when they're being taught by someone enamored with the subject, by a teacher who's as giddy as a kid when demonstrating processes and contemplating new variations and blends, blissfully preparing and pouring, sniffing and tasting, extolling and celebrating. At her best, a teacher can be an inspirator, inspiring, breathing life into both students and their subjects, lifting, fueling, and exciting people to learn, to critique, to assess, to adapt and personalize, to integrate and apply, and to newly create. And an illuminator, helping cast a light upon multiple aspects of a topic or a subject so that all sides might be seen more clearly. A clarifier, clarifying confusing concepts and misunderstandings, refining and communicating for the purposes of understanding. An explainer, extrapolating on the concept, details, and nuance of subjects. A demonstrator, conceptually or physically demonstrating ideas and processes for everyone listening. And an example, you yourself exemplifying or embodying to the degree that's possible the characteristics, the values, the ways, and the means that you're attempting to teach. At our wildest and most influential, a teacher can be a question raiser and injector of possibilities, provoking inquiry, suggesting alternative explanations, suggesting alternative actions, warning of consequences, and posing possibilities, applications, and solutions. At our best, we're an instigator, instigating independent thought, non-typical solutions, and responsible curative action. An overturner of conventions, sidestepping or surpassing, re-envisioning a new paradigm rooted in ancient traditions while blooming in beautiful new ways never seen before. A sometimes cage rattler, rattling the cages, supposedly protecting the privileged positions of those in power in the health system and beyond, and of those trapped in positions and systems below. And breaking out of our own self-made cages of imagined powerlessness, propriety, acceptability, and presumed limitations with a recommended dose of healthy hell raising. At our most consequential, we're seed bearers. Seed bearers offering up truths, perspective, and possibility. Seeds that a student then has the opportunity to themselves analyze, realize, fertilize, personalize, stylize, and utilize. We're mentors, providing consistent, seasoned, and reasoned consideration and guidance over some span of time. And finally, we're storytellers. Storytellers embedding info and insights into the narrative of a teacher, of a purpose, of a plant, investing their tales with life and longevity. Story contextualizes the information you're presenting, evokes its setting, gives it character and color, tracks and exposes the plot arc, and hints at any unknown ramifications, results, or outcomes. It's a common misconception that storytellers are mere myth makers and maybe somewhat frivolous entertainers, whereas teachers are considered serious, vetted, accredited purveyors of importance. To the contrary, the teachers who most deeply inform and lastingly inspire their students are almost always also good storytellers. Give it a try. Tell the herb stories, the earth story, and your own personal story. Tell the stories of healing practices, of history, of mythos, of compelling discoveries and evolving methods. Tell the tales of extreme acts of great caring, great service, and great devotion. Stories aren't about stopping to entertain. They're conveyance melded to manifestation. You already have much to share, as I seemingly keep repeating here. But with that said, we can always increase our reach, increase our impacts, our positive results, and our outcomes. You become increasingly more effective as you not only teach valuable practical information, skill sets, and a toolbox of techniques, but also as you become more comfortable and adept sharing who you deeply are, including your personal perspectives and your unorthodox thoughts, your direction-altering discoveries and inevitable challenges, those insistent insights and veritable visions right now bubbling up inside of you. It's going to be your defining and exacting personal recipe of self and purpose that makes your teachings not just roll, but rock. The unique blend of specific gifts, personal approach, and service that's utterly impossible for anyone but you to provide. Venture and savor.